Hi everyone, thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. If you're new here, my name is Sandy and on this channel we talk about pursuing a career in interior design and I give you home decor tips. Today's video is on the home decor side because we're going over 3 different floor plans for your bedroom and common issues that you might run into when you're trying to plan out your furniture. Let's jump right into these renderings. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about what I'm using to create these renderings, so it's going to be design files. Head down to the description box. There's a link in my description so that you can check this all out for yourself. It has a free trial, which is why I want to use one of these. The way I have this video set up is I'm going to go over 3 different examples of the way I've laid out furniture, why I've chosen that kind of piece, and the different challenges that you might happen upon in your own space. So let's get into the very first floor plan. This first floor plan is the most challenging one. And I think these are issues that people run into a lot. And a lot of things that I've been seeing as I've been touring apartments is that there are angled walls. People don't know what to do with their angled walls. And what happens when the space when the space has a door that swings in and prevents you from putting 2 nightstands and getting that symmetrical look. So in this example, this door here is the entrance door to this bedroom, and this door here goes to the bathroom. Most bathroom doors swing in, but perhaps yours swings out, or perhaps you have a door that is the entry to the bedroom that also swings out. So I wanted to give you guys an example of this because sometimes it's impossible to put 2 nightstands. And what you would do in this case instead is, for storage purposes, I went with a really large, what looks like a nightstand, but is a small dresser. So let's go into the top-down view. We're going to get into our top-down view here, and you can see I have, instead of placing just a regular dresser, a regular nightstand, I've gone with a small dresser. So please keep in mind, this is just for functional purposes. This room isn't fully designed, doesn't have all the accessories and things that would make it really, really pretty. We're talking about function here. Here we have a large nightstand. I'm gonna do quotes around that because what it really is a small dresser. If I click on it, I believe it identifies itself as a small dresser. Yeah, this is a 4-drawer dresser, or you might want to do a 3-drawer dresser because that way you're maximizing storage. In the other designs, the rooms are a little bit bigger, so I have more room to play around with nightstands. But one thing I want people to not be afraid to do is to use full-size furniture. That's the first mistake everyone's always making, is that because this room is a little bit smaller and because you have all these impediments, someone might say, they might look at this floor plan and say, hey, I actually need to get a full-size bed instead of a queen. I need to use 2 small little nightstands instead of that, and just don't do that. It's going to make the room feel smaller if you use smaller furniture. Don't use a smaller rug. Use this 8x10. Big statements, big statements. One thing I did go smaller with, as you'll notice when we go into the other floor plans, is these at the end. All right, so let's go back into our rendering view. I have the bed in front of a window. This is a mistake in quotes that people make, is they feel like they can't place a bed in front of a window because it is going to block light. And in reality, this window is huge and it's the only wall. All the other walls are interrupted. There's a closet here. This is angled. The door is here. Like, you just can't fit the bed anywhere else. So it has to go on a window wall. So don't be scared to do that. That's perfectly fine. We went with a full-size rug, and instead of a bench for seating at the end of the bed, I did ottomans because ottomans are easily movable. So if you want to move these around, you certainly can. And I went with a floor mirror on this angled wall instead of putting it over here. A lot of people, I imagine, would put it over here. And when you have a floor mirror, you definitely want to be able to stand all the way back as far back as you can to look at yourself, because that's going to give you just the best look, and it's just the most comfortable use of a floor mirror. If you have these 2 small ottomans here, then you're going to feel comfortable just moving these around. If you had a bench, a full bench, you'd probably be less likely to move that. So that's why I went with this angled wall. Angled walls are a great place for tall dressers. If I wanted to just swap this out, I could. Another thing I want to identify in this room is use extra lighting. So just because I can't have 2 nightstands doesn't mean I can't have 2 light sources. If this wall was not fully with a window, I would have put 2 sconces to add some symmetry to the room. But instead I went with the curtain panels, which add this intentional symmetry there. What you'll want to do is add a floor lamp somewhere. so that you have additional lighting in the room. You may say, oh, I have a fan overhead, or oh, I have recessed lights overhead. Doesn't matter. Those lights, even if they're dimmable, are most likely not going to have a control that's near your bed. You're going to have to get up and go to the door every single time, and you don't want to do that. So I highly recommend turning this light on so that you have something almost serves like a task light when you're going in your drawers. And then you have this light, which is going to be your bedtime light. You can turn it on and off from your bed. That's going to be the most comfortable for you. In this example, honestly, this is just a teeny bit high. I probably would have gone with something lower, but it's not the most uncomfortable if you're valuing function in storage. If you're valuing storage over teeny tiny function things, then I, again, would have gone a little bit lower, but this isn't the worst. And when you're placing your lamps, in photographs, you're always going to see lamps centered. And I think it just looks nice for the photo. But as far as function goes, you're actually going to put your table lamps a little bit closer to the bed so that they're not centered. They're usually going to be off center. That way, you can actually go in here. If I go in here and I go put this centered, you're going to have to reach and stretch. You're like, every time you need to turn it off, and you're probably going to end up moving it closer to you anyway, so that way you don't have to do so much reaching and stretching. This is also something I mentioned in my furniture mistakes video for living rooms. You can go watch that if you're interested in any mistakes that you're making in your living room and how to fix them. Floor plan number 2. So this room is almost a perfect square. It is probably ideal to have a room like this. It's super, super easy. I tried to place the windows in some awkward places and to have doorways so that you understood kind of what I was thinking for pathways. And in this room, if we head over to the rendering side, in this room, I don't have a closet because I've been seeing in a lot of apartments that the closet is through the bathroom. So let's just say for the purposes of this rendering that the closet is through the bathroom. So the bathroom's over here, and then this is your entrance door to the bedroom. One thing I want to note that you could potentially have some issues with is if I do this, when this door opens, you definitely don't want the wall mirror to be close enough to where it gets hit. So because the mirror opens this way, because the door, opens this way, I put the mirror over here. Some people might feel inclined to put the mirror on this side. I didn't do that because, again, you want to be able to stand further back. And perhaps this is far back enough for you, but it's going to feel more comfortable the further back that you can stand from the mirror. And then I went with a flat dresser, a more traditional long, wide dresser as opposed to a tall dresser. And the reason I put it over here instead of this here is because this is going to be a heavy walkway, right? You're going into the bathroom all the time. So you don't want to get in that tight space. I'll even move it to show you guys. You don't want to get in here to where you feel uncomfortable coming in and out of here. There's just too many things to bump into. It's just not going to feel as natural. So putting it over here in front of this window is going to be best. Let's go back to the rendering so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. So in this example, we have matching nightstands. You also want to get big nightstands. And if you can fit them, get big nightstands. If you truly, truly can't fit in your space, please send me some pictures of your guys' space. I would love to make this a series if you guys are interested, where people send me pictures of their space, I draw it out, and then we talk about how to tackle your room. If you're interested in that, if this is helpful for you. Now, going into putting furniture in front of windows, again, it's perfectly okay, especially with a dresser like this where it's flat and it is not super tall and it's not really obstructing the mirror too much. Absolutely feel free to do this. I would recommend don't push it completely up against the window because you're going to want, I'm going to zoom in. This is probably too much space for the purposes of this, but you're going to want this to be close enough so it's not in your way, but further enough so that you can still close these, because you're going to have to close these windows, these curtains, and you're not going to want the dresser to get in the way. And of course, we have our matching nightstands, the matching lamps, and a nice piece of art over the bed, and a bench. This was the bench I was talking about in the last floor plan, where you're most likely, even though this is easily movable, because of the way it looks, you're not going to want to move it all the time. It feels more like a permanent piece of furniture as opposed to something I would just move around all the time if it's in my way, which is why, again, I didn't go with this in the smaller room. Now moving on to the third floor plan. Now this room is much larger than the other two, and a lot of the mistakes that people make is sometimes when they have too much space versus when they don't have enough space. And they forget that you can create all of these little money moments, and then there's all this void in the room. So in this room, instead of putting a bench, I put a sofa. A sofa takes up much more space, and this room can simply support a sofa. I'm actually gonna bring this back down a little bit. And we can actually probably go bigger with this rug. You can probably end up doing like a 9 by 12 in here. This is actually, who knows what size this is, but just making it look appropriate. All right, so we have a 9 by 12 in here, or whatever size I just made it. And we also have our sofa instead of a bench. It's so cozy. This room is huge. Let's take up as much space as possible so it doesn't feel like there's a huge void in this space. And we may even want to push this back further into this kind of space because we also have a desk in here. So this room is really a good setup for someone who works from home and doesn't have a separate office space. Putting a desk as your nightstand, replacing one of your nightstands with it, is bomb. Great option. And you have to think about lighting as well. So I told you guys we want to have more than one lighting option. So even if you have overhead lights, put in table lamps. And this room this particular setup can't support a table lamp. So we have a small desk lamp, which is still reachable from the bed. So if you're in bed, you can use it as your night light if you're reading in bed. And then when you're working, you can also use it as that. I also push the rug back down. Now, normally we want rugs to be here because the whole point of them is, hey, you want to be able to step on them when you are getting out of bed. But in this room, we have a couple of things going on. So in this room, we have carpet. You can put rug on carpet, you guys, I promise. It's okay. In this room, we have carpet. And because of this desk situation, every time you roll your chair back, you're going to be hitting this and it's going to get really, really annoying. Trust me. So you're going to push this back, and it also helps create a separate moment, a separate living room, grounded moment for this sofa that's back here. Some details you'd probably add is like a C table or even an ottoman, so you can stretch your feet out when you're here, or you have some kind of hard surface to set a drink on or your book on, or plate if you're eating in your room, something like that. In this room, we also have this window scene. We also have your closet. So instead of your closet being through the bathroom like I did in the other design, now we have our closet here. So you want to be able to open your bifold doors without too much of an issue. And instead of taking a nightstand that goes all the way out, because normally bigger is better for me, I made sure this didn't touch this wall so that you don't have any issues opening this up. And then we have our mirror. Like I've told you guys, you want your mirror to be in the farthest distance so that you can step back and look at yourself. And in this particular instance, I probably could have put the mirror a little over to the side, especially since the door opens this way. So let's do that right now. Let's move this to where it needs to be. We can put it right over here. That way you can do a whole walk fashion show. And I have a sconce over this mirror. This is honestly just for fun. You don't have to do this, but it's if you can. Even if you're in a rental, there's tons of ways to put these sconces, to screw them in, use a battery powered light bulb or anything like that, and it's still going to look great. So that way, if you decide to move this mirror, you don't have to unwire anything or hire an electrician. You can just do it on your own. But these are the 3 different ways that you can set up your bedroom. And that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was really helpful for you. If you have a different scenario, please let me know. Hey, this is what my bedroom looks like. Send me some pictures on Instagram. Give me some measurements, and we can do the next video and it'll be your room. If you have other rooms that you're having issues with, living room, your gym, if you need to do a nursery or guest room / office. That's a really common one that people have issues with. Let me know. I would love to continue doing this and making it a series if you guys are interested. You can make sure to hit that subscribe button below, all right, if you found this helpful. And like I always say at the end of my videos, Beyonce said if you like it, put a ring on it. But I say if you like it, subscribe, all right? If you like it, then you should have subscribed to it. Give me my ring. Okay, actually, we'll do it here. My ring, but by ring, I mean subscription. Hit that ring emoji to let me know that you made it all the way to the end of the video. Bye.